everyone, and welcome to another episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business. I'm so excited. I have one of our brand new authors here, and she's got all sorts of creative stuff going on. So we'll talk about it. But she wrote in, I think she's chapter 2 or she's 3. Let me just check here. She is chapter 2 in our newest book, Women Like Me's The Space Between Before and After, and true stories of women who crossed it and were never the same. So let me introduce you to Tracy, and then we're going to dive into some questions for her. So in her chapter, it's called Rebel in Steel-Toed Boots, Walking Away from Expectations. Tracy shares what it was like to grow up loving woodworking and creativity, only to be told that some dreams were not meant for girls. But Tracy didn't stay inside the box. She kept going and she found her way into the trades, built a career with her hands, faced judgment, setbacks, burnout, and even a life-changing hand injury, and still chose resilience over retreat. This is going to be a conversation about identity, rebellion, healing, strength, and what happens when a woman stops asking permission to become who she was always meant to be. So thank you, Tracy Emanuele. Is it Emanuele? Did I get that
Yep,
right?
that's right. Yep.
Yeah, Tracy Emanuele. Well, thank you so much for being here. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Well, you have covered quite a few things, Julie. But yeah, I've always loved working with my hands and being creative. And I'm a mom, of course.
Yeah. And
And
you
yeah,
and you have a new cat.
yep,
Yeah,
yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
I'm not just a cat person, I'm a cat's person.
Cat, yes. That's how I'm going to start using that. I am a cats person. I love that.
Yeah.
So, Tracy, your chapter title is really powerful. Rebel in Steel-Toed Boots. So, what does that title mean to you personally?
Well, back when I first started getting into this when I was a lot younger, it wasn't as acceptable for women to be in the trades. And well, I got to a point in my life where I had an opportunity to do something about that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And yeah, I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You were more of a rebel back in the earlier days because now it's progressive, put it that
Oh,
way,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You said you always felt better going against the tide than flowing with it. So when did you first realize that about yourself?
Well, I'm not really sure when that started. You know, I just kind of started thinking if you look at all the trends, the way the in general, how people think, what's the norm, whatever. And I just thought to myself, you know what? Who decided that? Who says that things have to be a certain way? You know, it's kind of
Yes.
like you sort of wake up and think, what exactly is the point of all this? Why, you know,
Yeah,
there's something bigger out there, you
absolutely.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. And when you've got something inside of you that's burning, a desire, that's a tough one
Mm-hmm.
to, put it aside. So as a
Yeah.
little girl, you were already drawn to building and
Yes.
creating. So what was it about woodworking that spoke to you so deeply?
Hmm. Well, I don't know. It's just something that's just naturally beautiful. And it's even if you look at wood grain, it's got a pattern. There's just a certain art to it, really. And yeah, and then the smell of sawdust and everything. And of course, I'm a nature girl anyway. I love being out around trees and stuff. So I love to be around wood. I love to work with wood. You know, it's just, I don't know, it's just somehow it's just part of my soul.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up in an area where there were sawmills around us, and I know that smell of the sawdust.
Yeah.
Oh, love that smell. Yes, yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. So you wrote about being told woodworking was boy stuff.
Yep.
So how did that shape you at the time, and now when you look back on it?
Well, for a little while, I believed it. You know, it was a sign of the times. That's the way adults thought. That's the way my family thought. And, we always think they know best and want what's best for us, right? And like I say in my story, it was a sign of the times. I don't hold that against them at all.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
didn't you ask them, they didn't you want to join the woodworking in school, but they
yeah,
wouldn't sign it for you.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So,
Well, what do you think they wanted for you?
well, hmm,
The standard, women, nursing, secretary, that kind of thing, way back then?
probably
Yeah.
never really anything specific said
No,
about that.
no.
But yeah,
Just said,
they
no,
just
you're
didn't
not.
think I should do a woodworking job, blue collar job.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Hmm.
So before finding your place in woodworking, you did work in other types of industries. You worked in
Hmm.
retail, customer
Yeah.
service, office jobs, and you wrote about feeling drained. So what
Yes.
was happening inside you during those years?
I think I was dying inside a little bit, really. Like, I do my best to like smile and everything like that when I was working with people. And I am a people person, of course. But, and of course, I had good people I dealt with as well. But there were also the ones that were just miserable to you for no reason. And if, say, you're in retail, you're not really seen as a person, you're seen as the store. And if they're frustrated with the store, they're going to take it out on you.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, it was just not my thing. And there are people that are just phenomenal with the sales and customer service and everything. And you know what? They deserve a lot of admiration for that. Me, I am just so much happier working with my hands
Yeah.
and joking around with my coworkers and stuff like that. And the thing is, too, is you're surrounded by loud machines and stuff. But the thing is that it's a lot quieter in here.
Ah, that makes sense. That makes
Hmm.
absolute
Yeah.
sense.
All the
Yeah.
noise is outside of you. And it's a good noise too, because I find the sound of machines just comforting.
Hmm.
And of course, sometimes there's music playing and yeah, singing along
Yeah.
once in a
Yes.
while.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a happier place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember the exact feeling when you had your first time, the first time you stepped into a real workshop and realized this is where I belong? How did you feel?
It was like home,
Yeah.
like coming home for the first time, really. I just got to work, started, working with my hands and
And
yeah.
your grandfather had a woodworking shop, did he not?
Well, he had a few tools. He
Okay.
had an old table saw and stuff. And yeah, he he do a few things sometimes and yeah. I
Yeah.
just kind of that was where I first saw
Yeah.
woodworking happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, grade eight, when I actually got to do more and stuff. Yeah, that really was life changing.
Yeah. So you faced rejection and dismissal when you were trying to go back to woodworking
Hmm.
after your maternity leave. So
Yes,
was there a moment you ever thought, oh, I should just give up and go do something else?
never.
Yeah.
Hmm. You know, I found what I love to do, and there was no way I was going to let anyone tell me otherwise again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, wasn't there one man you talked about in your story who told you you should try waitressing
Yep.
instead? And I mean, how do comments like that, did that cut you? How did that, or did it fuel you?
Hmm. Well, it stung.
Mm,
And to be fair, at the time, the economy wasn't really in the best position. But yeah, it stung, but I wasn't going to let it change my mind.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And you eventually found your current workplace and described it like you just said earlier, like you were coming home. So, what
Yeah.
did that environment give you that other jobs never could?
Well, I got to do a lot of fun things like with the machines and building. So the variety, right?
Hmm.
There was that. And the environment itself, the way I was treated when I started, everyone was nice. And yeah, I think of them as brothers these days.
Yeah. Is there many
Mhm.
women that are in your shop or
Well, currently it's me, and then we have one in the office.
oh,
There have been a few that have kind of come and gone over the years,
yeah.
but mostly it's just been me and the other girl that have
Yeah.
stuck it
And
out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's great that you've been sort of brought into the fold and that's you got a lot of backup there with those
Mhm.
brothers if you need
Oh, yeah.
it. So you were the only woman on the floor for a long time. So tell us what it's like to work in a male dominated environment and sort of trying in the beginning to find your place within all that.
Mm. Well, I think that when you're the only girl, now it's a lot easier these days, of course, but I think there's three ways they can see you. They can see you as a nuisance, as a novelty, or a sister. And from the time I've been there, I felt like a sister.
Aw. That's wonderful. That's actually that's wonderful that they treat you that way. Because not
Mhm.
all, sometimes it can go a little
Yeah.
off-sided, but no, that's wonderful. Now
Hmm.
you had a major injury. Do you want
Yes.
to walk us through that day and tell us what happened?
Hmm. Well, the thing is, we had this old table saw at the time, and it didn't have any of the safety features. So, what can happen is that when a piece of wood is going through the blade, it can touch the back of the blade, the furthest part away from you. Now, of course, the table saw spins towards you. And if it touches the back of that blade, pinching between the blade and the saw fence, it can throw it back. That's called kickback, actually.
Oh,
And you know how fast a saw blade spins.
yes.
So pinching, that is an incredible amount of force that's coming at you. Even a small piece of wood. And yeah, it bounced off my hand. Didn't really feel like much at the time, but I looked down and saw the damage. It's like, okay, that's not good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So your recovery was not just physical. There were some emotional moments during your
Hmm.
recovery time as well. You want
Yeah.
to tell us a bit about that?
Well, you can go through stages really.
Hmm.
Like, of course, there's the pain at the beginning, and your mind does go to a few dark places during the time. Like, you're a little bit worried about what your future is going to be like and how much you're going to be able to do. So, there's that. You sometimes get to a stage where you get frustrated and you start finding modified ways of doing things.
Mm.
And yeah, it's just,
It
you
must have
have to
been,
keep focused really,
yeah, yeah.
because it can take a long time. For me, it was 10 months of recovery.
Wow.
And if you don't keep focused, your mind can slip into some dark places.
Yeah,
So you got to be
yeah.
really careful with that. You got to find the small comforts. For me, it was my ukulele that I got at that yard sale.
Well, that's my next question. I love that part about the ukulele. So,
Yeah.
and it was really your source of comfort. So, why do
Hmm.
you think so I wanted to know, like that's a small moment that mattered so much in your healing. So,
Hmm.
tell us about finding it.
Well, a couple of days after the accident, of course, I had my hand in the cast. Couldn't really do a whole lot, and there was a day where like multiple yard sales were happening around town. So family says, "Well, you know what? Let's get out for a while. Let's go check out some yard sales." So looking around, and I see this ukulele sitting on a table for $20, and I thought, you know, being able to play that when my hand is better, that would be a nice little goal to set, something to look forward to. And when I picked it up and looked at it, I noticed one of the tuning keys was broken. So it was, yeah, like me at the time, a little bit less
Oh,
than perfect. You know, it was just like something I was meant to have, I think, and something, yeah, like I just put it in my lap and I'd have my hand in my cast, but I'd sort of just kind of pick at the chords with my thumb. My thumb was basically the only part of my hand not really trapped.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that I thought that was a great part of your story for sure. So you wrote so honestly about needing help and how uncomfortable that was for you. So
Yeah.
what did your experience teach you about strength?
You never know how strong you are until you're tested, really. Yeah. Because you think to yourself, oh, I can't do this. I can't, we put so many obstacles in our own heads.
Yes.
But when you actually have no choice, when you actually have to fight, that strength just, it feels like it just comes out of nowhere, really. You just step up because you have to. And
Yes.
then afterwards, it's like, oh my, wow, I just did that. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're always stronger than you realize.
I agree. I agree. I think we have a lot more strength in us than sometimes we give ourselves credit for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if life never tested us, we'd never find it.
No, that's right. So
Mhm.
there you go. Yeah. So your daughter watched you go through all of this. So how did it experience or shape the bond between the two of you?
We have always had a strong bond, but I think watching this, I think the best way to show our kids is by example. Like, she didn't watch me sit there and wallow in self pity the whole time and play the victim, you know. And I just, pushed myself to get back up there because, I love what I do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she watched me go through all of that.
Mhm.
And one of the best things you can show your kids is to never give up.
Yeah. Yeah. How
Yeah.
old was she when you had the accident?
She was, let's see, She was turning 9 at the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, no, but you're right. It's just, yeah, showing, yeah, this is what we do. Life sometimes hands us stuff and
Yeah.
sometimes not. But yeah, we just, we have to deal with it. What else are we going to do? So when
Hmm.
you returned to work after such a serious injury, that must have taken enormous courage. Were you nervous and what did it feel like the first time you saw a new table saw? But also you write about seeing the bad table saw that gotcha.
Oh, yeah. That one of the first things they did after my accident was get a new table saw. So the old one, for the time being, they just stuck it up on a pallet and forklifted it up onto one of the racks. Of course, I saw it, and when I walked by, I definitely flashed that middle finger at it. Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. Well, good for you. Good for you. Is it
yeah.
still there?
Um, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of
That's
course, it's probably got about 10 feet of dust on top of it right now.
yes, exactly. Will you say that if you could turn back time, you would do nothing different? And that's a really powerful statement. So, have you
Mhm.
arrived at some sort of peace?
Yeah. Well, there's still a few things I struggle with. Like I don't have full movement yet.
Mm.
Like I can hold a pencil with my like to write, but if I had to squeeze it inside my fist, I'd probably drop it. Because I
Oh,
can make a fist, but not a tight one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. And so, does that affect what you're doing at work then?
Actually, most days, well, now that I've gotten back a lot more of my strength and stuff over the years, it I sometimes I even forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I have to hold something really small,
Yeah.
then it's a bit of an issue. But if I'm sawing wood or stuff like that, then it doesn't really get in my way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So what your chapter shares beautiful life lessons. Of course, we've talked about some of them, patience, perseverance,
Yeah.
small wins. Which of those lessons feels most important to you today?
Hmm. Which one? Hmm. Well, the one that's coming to mind first is how patience is the greatest test of strength and faith.
Mhm.
Because, well, there's my situation, and I think in general, it's not the mental load when you're going through things, even in everyday life sometimes. That's the hardest part because it's so easy to overthink. It's so easy to let doubts creep in. It's so easy to second guess yourself. And you really have to pull a lot of strength sometimes to just focus and not let the noise get in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it must have been really hard because you I mean this is what you do. This is you not only is this your income, your job, but you love it. It's like something
Yeah.
that you just love to do. And that must have been terrifying to wonder, am I ever going to be able to get back to doing what I love?
Mm-hmm. It is scary, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, what would you say to a woman who feels called towards something unconventional, but she's afraid of being judged?
Well, you know what? The only person that you have to the only person whose happiness you're responsible for is yours,
Mhm.
really, when it comes to that kind of thing. Like you've got to just stop saying I can't and start saying I can.
Yeah.
And everything that you're about to try, is going to be scary at first. There's that saying, life exists at the edge of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I would tell her to just go for it, you know, take that chance. And when you're just starting out, do not compare yourself to people who've been doing it a lot longer.
Yes, that's a
Yeah,
good one.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because they've got that much more experience,
Mm-hmm.
but learn from
Exactly.
them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and the judgment is a hard one. But like you said, I mean, you in the beginning, you were judged and you were told to go get a waitress job. And,
Yep.
I mean, but you just said, no, I know what I love, and this is what I love, and this is what I want to do. So, yeah, no, not going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. So at this stage of life for you, what does being a rebel mean to you? Do you still feel like a rebel?
Um, yeah, I would say I do for sure. You know, just you got to put the key to happiness in your own pocket.
Yeah.
And just sometimes the tide is just flowing one way. But if you want to get where you go, you got to swim against it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Sometimes you do, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's
And the
good.
resistance makes you stronger.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So when people hear your story or when they read your story, what do you hope they can take away from it?
I hope that they have the courage to follow their dreams,
Hmm.
even if other people think it's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hope they learn that they are stronger and smarter and more than they think they are.
Mm. Yeah. I love that. That's thank you for that, Tracy, because I think yeah, we hold ourselves back sometime based on what other people think or what they see for our lives. And
Mm-hmm.
but it's yeah, we all have to go on our own path, that's for sure. Now, tell us a little bit about what you do now, because I know you're still doing the woodworking. And before we got on air, we were talking about a dresser with a little cabinet that you're making right now that you're probably going to sell. But you're also doing other creative things. So
Mm-hmm.
you're making, is it children's books? Do you have
Yeah,
children's
I have
books?
the children's book out there.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
have
Well, I also love to inspire.
ah yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And you
Yeah.
have and you have coloring books. I think it is some adult. Is it adult coloring books or children's?
I have one coloring book that I made with Canva. That can be either, really.
Yeah, yeah.
I also have guided journals and I have notebooks and things as well.
Oh, beautiful.
Mhm.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, when you're creative, it's just, and I think we all have some sort of creativity in us. And once you find that, you let that outlet go. It's just fun to make things, and hopefully there are things that people will be interested in. But it's just so much. It's just. I was thinking about taking up painting. I have no idea.
Ooh.
I can't draw a stick man, but I thought maybe I could try painting. So I thought I was going
Mhm.
to try. I'm going to try.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
I'm going to share one more little story.
Yes.
When I was taking lessons for my ukulele, of course, naturally, when you're playing music, you want to sing along. And I tried, and I said to my music teacher, you know what? I sound horrible. Can we pause and work on my voice for a little while? So I started learning a little bit about how to sing,
Oh.
and now I'm in my church choir.
Oh,
I used to
beautiful.
think I couldn't sing. So if you want to try art, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. And thank you for telling that story. That's awesome. I love that. It's great. Okay. So I want everyone to know that we are going to have some information about how to find Tracy and what it is that she does in the show notes. So don't hesitate to grab the link. I think it goes to her books and some other things as well. So don't hesitate to reach out to her. So Tracy, I want to end with such a powerful contrast in your life because I see that I don't think you were, from reading your story, I don't think there's a victim part of your story, but there's definitely a warrior part.
Yeah.
And you didn't seem to stay down, when somebody said, "Oh, you can't do that," or "You shouldn't do that," or "Go get a job here," or something more woman-like.
Hmm.
You stood up and said, "That's not really what I want to do. I really do want to do this." So, what does being a warrior look like in everyday life?
Well, you can choose to be a victim or a warrior. That's the point that I would want to make with that.
Yeah.
And being a warrior in everyday life, it's a mindset, and we all have our moments, of course, when you're going to have a day that's a little heavier than others and you need to rest from the battlefield. That's okay, as long as you get back up.
Yes. Yes. That is so strong. I 100% agree. Yeah, it's okay to have a nap, put your head under the blankets, but don't stay there. That's the difference. We all have down days, but it's just not staying in that down mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why self care is so important too.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, Tracy, I just loved our conversation and I appreciated you so much having the courage to write in the book. I know we had talked a little bit over the years. We've known each other a few years now. And then you one day said, "Hey, I think I'm ready to write now." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yay, this is going to be great." So I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you did. So we'll
Hmm.
have the link also to the book. So if you guys wanted to purchase the book and read Tracy's story, we'll have that there for you as well.
Yes.
So Tracy, any last words for the audience? Anything last words you want to share?
Hmm. Well, I have a favorite little saying, and I actually ended my chapter with this as well, and that's stay awesome.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate this. I appreciated you writing in the book, and I just love that you came on the podcast as well.
Yeah.
And thank all of
Thank you.
you. Yeah, you're welcome.
And thank
And
you, Julie. I appreciate this as well.
oh,
And
you're
you are awesome.
oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to take that with me tonight. I'm going to stand a little taller. Uh, Thank you. Okay, everybody. Well, that's it for this episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business. And I hope you'll tune in next time at our next episode. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.